Please be seated. Good afternoon, and thank you for attending this meeting of the Council. Please note that the meeting is being live streamed on the Council's YouTube channel. I welcome members of the press and public who may be viewing this meeting remotely. We now have to move into the formal business of the meeting. Can we take the notice convening the meeting as read?
Mr. Mayor, I've got a point of order.
Councillor?
I believe I voted for you and the other candidate. That wasn't mentioned in the minutes, to my knowledge.
Right. We're moving on to the minutes shortly. Okay. Do we have any apologies of absence?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have apologies from Councillors Eyre, Blackburn, Graham Miller, Price, who may be able to attend late, Councillor Rowntree, Dorothy Truman, P. Walker, Wilson and McDonough, and Councillor Ty may also attend late. I have also apologies from Honorary Alderman Forbes and Tate.
Thank you. Are there any further apologies? Councillor Tracy Dodds?
Thank you. I've got apologies for Paul Stewart.
Catherine Mason-Gage. Brandon Freely? Councillor Brandon Freely?
I'll put in the apologies for Alderwoman Louise Farman.
Councillor Spedding? No? Any more? No? Right. Thank you. The next item is the minutes of the annual meeting of the Council held on the 21st of May 2025. I understand that Councillor Edgeworth wishes to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Stephen O'Brien has stolen my thunder somewhat, but on page 4 of the agenda pack, it states that we voted against the motion to appoint you to be Mayor of Sunderland, but I and other colleagues voted for both candidates. I wondered if the minutes could be updated to reflect that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Edgeworth, as I understand it, the vote was either you vote for myself or you vote for the other candidate, Councillor Jimmy Warren, I believe. You've proposed and Councillor Stephen O'Brien seconded Councillor Jimmy Warren. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you just give me one moment while I just seek advice on this? Thank you. Does Council agree to record that correction to the minutes? Agreed? Does Council want to put it to a vote? No. Just agreed. Okay, that's fine. Can we agree the minutes? Agreed. Brilliant. Do any...
Order.
Councillor Mullen?
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, under Rule 14.1c, I'd like to, having sought your agreement in advance, now formally propose changing the order of the agenda, and that is to bring the crime emergency motion to follow the National Care Service motion in light of the fact that members of Gloria Stevenson's family and her friends are present to hear that motion be discussed.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mullen. Will you just give me 1 minute while I seek advice? Thank you. Is it agreed that that motion will be considered as the fourth motion today? Agreed. Thank you. Do any members have any interest to declare? No. Okay, I myself, colleagues, have an interest to declare. I work for the Department of Work and Pensions, so will be abstaining on the vote in relation to that matter. Council was saddened to learn of the death of former councillor Peter Gibson. Peter represented the Silksworth ward on the council from 1986 to 2023, during which time he chaired the Standards Committee and served on a number of other committees, including licensing and regulatory and audit and governance. Peter also served on the Tyne and Wear Fire and Rescue Authority, Sunderland Empire Theatre Trust and Newcastle International Airport, as well as serving in the community on the West Police and Community Forum, youth projects, and as a long-standing governor of Farringdon School. I am sure members will join me in sending condolences to Peter's family and friends. I ask now that we observe a minute's silence as a mark of respect to our former colleague, Peter Gibson. Thank you. Now I understand that the council has received an award. Councillor Alison Smith, do you have something to present to council?
Thank you. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to present this award to the Mayor. Sunderland City Council's SMART team was honoured to take home the Place-Based Impact Award at the Future Network Awards 2025. Sunderland City Council have led an impressive 5G Innovation Regions Transformation Programme, which has reshaped the region's digital landscape and strengthened its position as a hub for advanced wireless innovation. With projects ranging from smart ports, agri-tech, intelligent transport systems and 5G-enabled creativity, with Sunderland's very own pavilion housing the largest interactive display screen in the UK, the judges were incredibly impressed with the groundbreaking projects, putting Sunderland and the wider North East firmly on the map as a digital trailblazer. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. That concludes... Thank you. That concludes my announcements. I'd like to thank those members who have given notice of their wish to speak. If any member who hasn't given prior notice wishes to speak at any point during the meeting, they should raise their hands to indicate. We now move to the Leader's Update. Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. And first of all, can I associate myself and the group with the words about Peter Gibson. Peter was a mentor to me when I first joined the council, and I was very sad to learn of his recent passing and wish to pass on our condolences to Betty and all the family. Mr Mayor, I wanted to start today with I know we've agreed an urgent question. We'll have one on the issues in Roker Avenue, but I was intending to start my update this evening with some information about what happened in Roker Avenue. Just so I appreciate the council's been shared the live update. the key messages from Northumbria Police. But what has alarmed and worried me is the blatant stirring up of racial hatred online. It is a live police investigation. The alleged perpetrator has been arrested and remanded. And I just want to say to Council and to the City that it is absolutely vital that we do not comment on an ongoing police investigation so as not to in any way, shape or form prejudice that court proceedings. So I just wanted to start with that, Madam Member. Mr Mayor, sorry, I'm going to get used to saying that moving forward, but I will have a fuller response to the question moving on. One of the big announcements that we've had recently, Mr Mayor, is the absolutely fantastic news confirmed in the spending review that the region has been awarded £1.85 billion in transport capital fund, and this is the largest investment in transport we've received in the region ever. What it means for Sunderland is that we will finally be able to deliver on the campaign of this Labour group and this council to extend the metro to Washington. This is something we've campaigned on for a number of years. This is something that Sharon Hodgson first campaigned when she became a Member of Parliament for the Washington area in 2005. And it's finally been able to be delivered on because of the investment from the Labour government and from the Chancellor. So I'm really looking forward to working to make sure that project hits on time and on budget. There's £900 million is roughly estimated to cost. And the Mayor Kim McGuinness is very much behind that. So this is something that I understand Nexus are currently organising a number of engagement sessions across the region on this. So if anyone is interested in understanding what the proposals is, I would encourage them to attend them and have their say. But this is exciting news for Sunderland, it's exciting news for Washington, one of the largest towns in the country without having a direct rail link, and that will come to an end thanks to this Labour Council and this Labour government. People will have seen, Mr Mayor, that we have named, not we, I should say the city, the residents of Sunderland have named the new footbridge across the Weir. 55% of those taking part in that poll voted for Keel Crossing. I want to thank the over 1,000 people for the individual suggestions. Some of them were hilarious. Some of them were, I think, just people pulling the leg. My personal favourite wasn't shortlisted by the panel of business and community representatives, was Raise to the Bridge, but unfortunately that didn't make the shortlist. But I think we can all see the progress that the Keel Crossing is making. It is on track to open for the first opening game of the Rugby World Cup at the end of August, but it will connect both sides of the river, expand the perimeter of the city centre, drive footfall to that with all the different developments that's taking place around the sheepfold, from the Housing Innovation Construction Skills Academy to the sheepfolds development of the new housing. Obviously Riverside Sunderland on this side of the river, Riverside Park. It's going to be absolutely transform the way people move around the city. So I absolutely want to thank everyone for their suggestions, for taking part. It's one of the biggest engagement I understand that we've had as a council. So I just want to place on record my thanks and appreciation for that. I've already touched on the Rugby World Cup. People will see the city centre in particular is starting to get dressed. This is a significant event for the city. The eyes of the world will be on Sunderland at the Stadium of Light when the England Red Roses kick off their World Cup campaign against the USA. I would encourage this. Apparently there is tickets still available, so if you do want to come along and watch that game, it will be live on the BBC. But I think this is a really key moment for the city in an international spotlight with elite women's sport coming to Sunderland. There's going to be a whole host of activities planned across the city. It was absolutely brilliant to be at Hilton Castle recently when the new trophy, this is going to be the first time this trophy has been presented to the winning team, was on display. It's been around various parts of the city. But what's really been encouraging for me, Mr Mayor, is to see the enthusiasm from the young people of Sunderland who have really participated, got involved in this, and hopefully having this event in the city will inspire the next generation of young people to take up elite sport, and hopefully in the future, if we're very lucky enough to have another elite international competition, we might see some homegrown talent on the field of play. Council might have seen that the government have launched the review of the funding formula as part of the spending review. This was a commitment in the Labour Party's manifesto to move to a 3-year funding settlement for councils. This is long overdue. They're currently consulting on the changes to the formula. The last government unfortunately changed the formulas that meant areas that are less able to raise council tax locally through their having a low council tax base suffered at the hands of moving money and resource and grant to councils which are more affluent in the south. This Labour government has absolutely given a commitment they're going to reverse that, but they are consulting on the formulas. That will mean we'll have more money in the pockets of this council for us then to start reinvesting back into communities. So everything that was lost under austerity, I hope over the next 10 to 15 years, we'll be able to put back in, because some of our communities have suffered more than most. But this government is absolutely committed, and this Labour group is absolutely committed to putting things back into communities. So I'd encourage members of all parties and indeed residents of the city to look on the .gov website to take part in that consultation, to share their views. Because I think it's really important that we get this right. The last time it was done was about 10 years ago, and as I say, as a council, we suffered because of the changing of the formula. People will recall during the last general election, Rishi Sunak, the then Prime Minister, was on camera bragging how he'd changed the formulas and sent money to the south. This Labour government is giving us it back, and we will then invest that money into the communities right across Sunderland, from Washington to the coalfields to the borough of Sunderland itself. Mr Mayor, I just want to touch on a few things to update council following the most recent meeting of NECA. I was delighted to see some significant investments in transport, but in particular, from the high level, this will have a serious impact on the ground in the communities. We've got a new bus stop programme. This is one of the things as ward councillors we often get requests about bus stops being vandalised or being not fit for purpose. So there is a commitment from the Combined Authority and from the Mayor to fund a wave of bus stop replacements, and then also through the Connected Station programme, St Peter's train station, metro station, on the back of the development at the Sheepfolds, will see a significant investment in that. And as also as part of the CRSTS funding for electric vehicles, we've nominated priority sites in Herrington Country Park, Elmore Park, Hetton Lyons Park and Washington F Pit to have some electric vehicle infrastructure installed. So that's a brief roundup of things that I thought Council would be interested to hear. And as always, I'm happy to answer the 4 questions, 2 from each of the leaders of the opposition. So I think that is just about 10 minutes, Mr Mayor, so I'll sit back down now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Leader. You had 1 minute to spare. Councillor Edgeworth.
Reclaiming my time, Mr Mayor. Finish that.
Councillor Edgeworth, do you want to ask a question?
Thank you, Adam. On the Metro extension, obviously good news, but just a few weeks ago there was £8 million announced for a feasibility study with a global consultancy firm. So how do we know that the money that's been given will be enough, and what can we do to counter any scepticism that the project will be delivered on time?
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. I think the £8 million that was announced was effectively the outline to develop the outline business case. We've been in a position as a council over the previous 10 to 15 years where we would develop these outline business cases. We would effectively do the estimates from the construction to the development to the running of the system, and then we would have to go down to government to say, please, government, can you fund us? This is different this time because of the spending review, the commitment from the government, the £1.85 billion, the money's already in the region. It's estimated to cost £900 million to extend it. We're confident we can fully fund that out of the £1.85 billion. But as I say, this has enabled us to develop that outline business case and then not lose any time whatsoever because the money's already in the region. So once that outline business case has answered all the questions, it's looking at the Victoria Viaduct, it's where the stations are going to be, all the ancillary stuff that's around it. We should literally be able to get cracking on day one, so there shouldn't be any delay, and I'm hoping to see trains on tracks in a couple of years' time.
Lovely. The bell rings. The Rugby World Cup, obviously good. I wonder if the leader would like to pay tribute to Amanda Hopgood, a great Liberal and a great woman, for delivering the money as a portfolio holder for culture on the Combined Authority to deliver that. And what can we do to make sure that money is being used to open access to the event to people who otherwise wouldn't be going, rather than just people who are going to go anyway and would get discounted tickets? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. I'm absolutely happy to pay tribute to the work that Amanda did. The one good thing about Necker Cabinet in the last 12 months was that doesn't matter what political party the leaders were from, we pulled together because we knew the benefits devolution would bring to the region. I hope that will continue this year, but it remains to be seen. So far, so good would be my assessment of the situation. But in terms of the issue of widening participation, this is something that we're keen to do. In terms of, not just in relation to the World Cup, but in terms of widening participation in sport. Generally, I understand the government are currently developing plans. They've made a few announcements through the Department of Culture, Media and Sport. But it's something, I haven't got the details at hand now, Paul, but I'm more than happy to ask Beth and the officers to, because there was stuff when we bid for this around legacy and stuff like that. So there is elements in, so I'm sure we can pick that up outside the meeting. Thank you.
Councillor Anthony Mullen, do you have 2 questions to ask?
I do have 2 questions to ask. I thank him for referring to the 1,000 suggestions for names of the bridge. In the interest of transparency, can I ask him to publish all of them? But in particular, can I ask, was he lobbied to refer to the bridge as King Charles III Bridge? And is it right that he personally blocked that?
In terms of the list, Mr Mayor, I think that's been published now on the result of a Freedom of Information request by the BBC, and absolutely did not block any consultation around naming the bridge after His Majesty. I think he is a wonderful gentleman who does lots for the city, but at no stage was there any formal plans to name the bridge after His Majesty.
Thank you very much. And then in referring to the spending review, it was the case that he used to say that council tax increases were dictated by government, and of course the spending review has assumed not 1 but 3 maximum spending tax increases at the maximum limit over the next couple of years. Is it still his view that that's dictated by government and not by local government?
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. It absolutely is factored into the funding formulas that the government announced when they announced the local government finance settlement. One thing I would point out to Councillor Mullen and to Council, not only have the government launched a review on the formulas, they've also launched a review at the same time around council tax, and there's various proposals on the table to redesign, to look at making council tax a fairer system. My personal view, it is a regressive system. It punishes the areas with least able to raise revenue themselves, and I would like to see a government finally grip the system and reform the council tax system, because it's not fair that a council in the south with a bigger, higher council tax base than we can raise more money to spend on local services. We need to get a better, fair balance in the system. So I would encourage Councillor Mullen and the rest of council to participate in that consultation, which is live currently.
Thank you very much. We will now need to deal with the notice of motion, which is titled Protecting Our Heritage. I call upon Councillor Hartnett to read and move the motion. Councillor Hartnett.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
This council regrets the decision taken by the University of Sunderland to close the National Glass Centre in 2026. Preserving Sunderland's glassmaking heritage is vital to the city's cultural offer, as well as the council's economic growth ambitions. The university has taken this decision due to what it claims are unaffordable repair costs and sustained operating losses. Council expresses concern regarding the accuracy of the cost estimates so far presented. Council therefore resolves that the Chief Executive will write to the university's Vice-Chancellor with the following questions. 1. What is the scale of the centre's operating loss in the current financial year and the preceding 5 years? 2. Do those losses reflect the cost incurred when structural changes were made to the centre's main facade in 2022? 3. How does the university account for the centre's income and expenditure? And 4. Will the university release all documents relating to its ownership of the centre and confirm whether that ownership is subject to any restrictions? The proposal to establish an alternative glassmaking provision in Sunnyside in 2027-28, known as Glassworks Sunderland, fails to address the loss of expertise caused by the centre's closure. It ignores the economic implications for the surrounding area and is itself only partially costed. Council further resolves that the Chief Executive will prepare a detailed report to be made public within 6 weeks with the following terms of reference. 1. To fully explain the proposed ownership structure of Glassworks Sunderland. 2. Consider whether the National Glass Centre and Northern Gallery for Contemporary Art will continue to exist in any form following the closure of the centre building. And 3. Outline the capital and revenue cost of making Glassworks Sunderland fully operational, i.e. the cost of relocating equipment, refurbishment, fitting out, employing staff, and how this will be funded. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hartmark. Councillor Reid, do you second the motion?
I second the motion, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to speak immediately after Councillor Hartmark.
Councillor Hartmark, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the attendance today of members of the Save Our Glass Centre campaign who have worked tirelessly to protect our local and national heritage for future generations to enjoy. I'm grateful for the opportunity to address matters concerning the vital preservation of our local and national heritage, much of which has previously been lost over the years, but which are so important to the people of Sunderland. Sunderland and its internationally recognised National Glass Centre is a beacon of excellence and a major attraction to our city. Indeed, second only to the Stadium of Light, attracting over 230,000 visitors every year. We are presenting this motion in such a way as to gain support from across all political parties to take the issues raised forward. This is therefore not a politically biased motion, but one which we know is supported by political friends on all sides of the chamber. And I hope that you've been offered a free vote in this particular instance. Having supported the Save Our Glass Centre campaign from the outset, we are saddened by the determination made by the university to abandon not only an iconic building, well loved and well supported by those from Sunderland and beyond, but to abandon also the offer of glassmaking as an academic and practical course within the very city, which is the international home and origin of specialist glassmaking. Our forefathers will be turning in their graves to see the economic and historical vandalism of what was and still could be a fine building located at the very spot where ship's ballast of sand was taken and developed into the finest glass in the world. The people of Sunderland cannot understand how the council can stand aside without any meaningful intervention to protect such heritage and a publicly funded building which was opened to huge celebration by King Charles less than 27 years ago. It's an outrage that any publicly funded building should be subject to demolition after only 27 years, and those responsible for its maintenance and management should, in my view, quite simply hang their heads in shame. The university's own commissioned report into the state of the existing building and costs provided to decision makers were, fact, cloaked in mystery and misleading to say the least. To suggest that to upgrade the building would cost £45 million when the entirety of the Culture House build is only £27 million is deceptive and driven, we believe, by a specific agenda to condemn the building. One of the costings provided to decision makers but not recommended to them suggested £14 million for repairs, £6.5 million construction fees, £5 million inflated fees plus £2.3 million for refundable VAT. These extortionate fees simply feed the narrative, the false narrative that the saving of this building is too expensive to achieve. We are being misled, colleagues. We understand also that the cost to provide glassworks is in the region of £7.5 million, for which a £5 million government grant has already been awarded. The cost of demolition of the National Glass Centre is estimated by the university to be £3.5 million. So put simply then, if the cost of repairs is really £12.5 million and the cost of creating glassworks along with demolition costs is 11, then does it not make huge economic sense to retain the current glass centre, securing ongoing economic growth to Sunderland and the retention of a building and its facilities which is loved by the people of Sunderland and beyond? I think it would be naive to believe that no formal discussions have taken place between the Council and the University, and I think it would be even more naive to rely on any suggestion that as the building allegedly belongs to the University, and I say allegedly belongs to the University, they can do with it what they wish. We really do need to force the hand of our own senior council officers to act in the interests of this city and in a last-ditch effort make every effort to save Sunderland's National Glass Centre, which is clearly the wishes of the people. The questions raised within this motion, Mr Mayor, are legitimate questions aimed at legitimate public interest scrutiny. Questions which to date, despite an invitation to the Vice-Chancellor of the University to attend an economic scrutiny meeting, he has declined to attend. Please, colleagues, I plead with you to support this motion and before the National Glass Centre is lost forever, intervene to at least expose the true and accurate costings exploited by the University to justify its decision to demolish this national treasure. And one last thing, Mr Mayor. If I can just share this, which is a clock, which actually is a clock which is identifying the time that the Glass Centre is going to exist under the current plans. It has 395 days, 19 hours and 38 minutes to survive. We've got to do something about this, members, and we've got to scrutinise the decision makers in relation to what's happened and the decisions that have been come by to close this national and local treasure. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hartmark. Councillor Reid.
Councillors, I stand before you today to speak in passionate, overwhelming support of this motion, a motion that speaks to who we are as a city, what we value, and what we owe to our past and to our future. This council regrets the University of Sunderland's decision to close the National Glass Centre in 2026, and rightly so. For over 1,350 years, glassmaking has been woven into the fabric of Sunderland, a craft that built our identity, lit up our culture, and powered our economy. To let the heritage fade away is not just a loss, it's a betrayal of everything this city stands for. The university tells us this closure is inevitable, unaffordable repair costs, they say, and years of operating losses. But let's not take their word at face value. This council has every reason to question the numbers they've put forward. Are these costs as crippling as they claim? Are they accurate? We deserve the truth and not assumptions. That's why this motion is so critical. It demands answers from the Vice-Chancellor. What's the real scale of the centre's losses this year and over the last 5? Did the 2022 facade repairs skew those figures? How do they even tally up the income and expenditure? And what about ownership? Are there restrictions we don't know about? These aren't just questions, they're the foundations of an informed decision, one this council must have a say in. The National Glass Centre isn't just a building, it's a beating heart. It draws 200,000 visitors a year, sustains local jobs and trains the next generation of glassmakers. It's vital to our cultural offer, a shining symbol of Sunderland's creativity, and it's a linchpin of our economic growth ambitions. Closing it doesn't just dim that light, it risks the livelihoods and pride of the communities around it. And what's the university's answer? A vague promise of supporting Glassworks Sunderland in Sunnyside sometime in 2027 or 2028. That isn't a replacement, it's a downgrade. It doesn't account for the expertise we'll lose when the centre shuts, it ignores the economic ripple effects on this area, and it's only half-costed at best. We can't trade a world-class institution for a shadow of its former self and call it an upgrade. That's why this motion does more than regret, it acts. By directing the Chief Executive to write to the Vice-Chancellor, we're demanding clarity. By commissioning a public report within 6 weeks, we're taking responsibility. That report will dig into Glassworks Sunderland, its ownership, its cost, its funding. It will ask whether the National Glass Centre and the Northern Gallery for Contemporary Art can survive in any form after 2026. It will lay out what it really takes to make this new venture work, if it even can. But this isn't about stalling, it's about ensuring we don't leap from a known treasure to an uncertain gamble. Some might say the university's mind is made up and that we're powerless. I'd say we're not powerless. We're Sunderland City Council. We're supposed to be purposeful. Others might claim that the centre costs too much. I ask, what's the cost of losing it? The cost to our tourism, our students and our story. We're not here to rubber stamp someone else's decisions, or at least I'm not. We're here to fight for our city. This motion sends a message. Sunderland's glassmaking heritage isn't theirs to discard. It's ours to defend. This is our moment. Past this motion, we show the university we won't sit idly by. We show our people will protect what makes us unique. And we show the world that Sunderland's light, forged in glass, coal and shipbuilding, will not go out on our watch. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Reid. I understand that Councillor Jones wishes to move an amendment. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Would you please read out your amendment?
Protect our heritage, delete all after first paragraph and replace with Council therefore welcomes the funding commitment from the Labour Government towards supporting the development of Glassworks Sunderland. This is a proactive solution that ensures our glassmaking heritage is preserved and represents innovation and rejuvenation. This will ensure that Sunderland continues to lead in contemporary craft and maintain its world-class reputation. Council believes that this is a practical solution to a situation that is wholly out of its control, that is in the best interest of local council taxpayers, but also ensures our glassmaking heritage is maintained.
Thank you, Councillor Jones.
Point of order. This is a different motion, obviously. This isn't an amendment. This is something entirely different.
Councillor Mullen, will you give me 1 minute while I seek advice, okay? Thank you. Council, I have taken advice and the amendment would negate the motion. So, colleagues, would you please, please calm down. Please calm down, Councillor Arkner, that's unacceptable language.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Can I congratulate you on you fulfilling democracy? Thank you very much.
Councillor Stephen O'Brien, that's not. It's I've taken advice on this. That's why I've made this decision, right? That amendment would negate the motion. The same achievement can be, the same outcome can happen by a no vote. That's why I've taken that decision. Does anyone else wish to speak on the original motion? Councillor Beth Jones. Oh,
Sorry, Councillor Jones. Councillor Ty. Councillor Checker. Councillor Ty, I've got your vote. Councillor Hodgson. Councillor Dagg. Councillor Harry Truman. Councillor Martin Heron. Councillor David Newey and Councillor Brandon Feely. And we've received prior notice from Councillors Edgeworth and Councillor Mullen. So speakers,
Mr. Mayor.
Speakers, Mr. Mayor, I have Councillor Jones, Councillor Ty, Councillor Checker, Councillor Hodgson, Councillor Dagg, Councillor Truman, Councillor Martin Heron, Councillor Newey, Councillor Feely, Councillor Edgeworth, Councillor Mullen and Councillor Hartnack has the right of reply.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, apologies, I don't know which rule I'm citing this under, but can I please request a 5-minute adjournment for us to consider the decision that's just been made?
Yes, you may. We will adjourn for 5 minutes now.
Mr Mayor, it's been over 5 minutes.
Stephen O'Brien, your leader's meant to speak, Councillor Mullins meant to speak, the leader, and they're all out there. That's why it's a complicated subject, so I'll just give them a couple of minutes
There
to
seems
finish
to be
up.
a large amount of gesticulating from Michael Mordy.